from the cold theaters of the world. This is Circuit Breaker. Brought to you by the entertainment site awardcircuit.com. An in-depth chat on film, television, and all the award shows that need predicting. Here's your host, Clayton Davis.
Hello, readers, and welcome to Circuit Breaker, brought to you by the entertainment website awardcircuit.com. I'm your editor-chief and owner, Clayton Davis, here today on November 18th, 2018. Time of recording is 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this is episode 116. Here today with Joey.
Hey.
Full house with Mark here.
Hey, everybody.
Chris James.
Hello.
And Her Highness, Karen Peterson.
Is she smoking marijuana?
Oh, shit. I thought she was just like, nah, I'm done. Karen comes with breaking news today that the Browns are interested in interviewing Condoleezza Rice for the head coaching job. Source:
That's right.
ESPN.
Go get them, Browns.
That's cool.
Is it cool?
Sure.
I mean, it's very Browns to hire someone who'd never coached a day in her life. You know?
We just like a Mad Lib.
We don't like to win. We don't like to win. We just like to have.
Yeah,
big
I mean that
names.
was just a name out of a hat, right? That's all it was.
Well, there
That's
was
pretty
talk
much.
at one point about her potentially signing on for a commissioner position, or she also was interviewing for a job, something to do with NCAA football at one point.
Yeah, she was in talks to be part of the bowl playoff committee, I
Well, I
believe,
think she was. She
Oh,
was
yeah.
in the first committee.
or she was in it. Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean,
she's a big sports person. I remember like
She really
a few
is.
years ago. Yeah.
Awardcircuit.com.
All right.
God.
they love it when we talk sport.
Take your calls. Next we've got Adam from the Bronx. What do you think? Condi Rice to the Browns.
Yeah, we got a jam-packed agenda. We got lots to talk about, a lot of news from the week and all that other stuff. This episode of Circuit Breaker is brought to you by Cold War for your consideration in all categories, including foreign language film, best picture, and best actress Joanna Kulig. As I learned this week when I interviewed her, it's Joanna,
kidding.
not Joanna. We Americans despicable
Swine.
people.
Look
We
at
do
you
not
pronouncing
anyone's
names correctly. I'm so proud.
I know. I only because when so I was prepping for the interview, like literally, like all this stuff, and then the publicist calls me like 5 minutes before my scheduled time. She's like, "I need to push it back 15 minutes." With Joanna, I was like, "With Joanna?" She was like, "No, Joanna." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's what I meant, Joanna."
Yeah. No, I got it.
Yeah, well, that's what I said, asshole. Yeah.
And then you
So,
spent the next 15 minutes just in the mirror saying, Joanna, Joanna,
Yeah.
Joanna.
And then he called her Moana.
She's so pleasant, by the way, and she will
Oh,
big movie star
Mm-hmm.
here.
That's what I hope.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. So much to talk about. Start with let's run through the tidbits, 'cause that's always the fun stuff. So we got a new trailer for On the Basis of Sex that showcased the original song by Kesha. That was earlier in the week. We talked about the film last week. I saw it, and any of you guys see it at AFI? My AFI peeps.
I did.
Oh, I know, Karen.
It was the opening night film.
Karen, were you not on the podcast last week?
No,
That's
wait,
why.
was I?
Oh, no, I don't think you were. That's
No,
why I don't
I
know
wasn't.
what you thought
It
about
was just Mark, me, and you.
Yeah, you and I were on the same page, it sounded like, based on tweets, but it seems to be a kind of a mixed reaction across the board.
It is a mixed reaction, and I think that's really unfortunate. Really good movie. I'm coming in from someone who was very skeptical. I thought this was not going to be good at all, and I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
Netflix picked up Chiwetel Ejiofor's directorial debut, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. If you were following my Oscar predictions early on in the season, I had that listed under like unranked contenders because I didn't know what was happening with it, and now it has a home at Netflix. So we'll see Chiwetel and see if he can direct at some point. Speaking of Army Hammer, who's in On the Basis of Sex, him and Lily James are headlining the adaptation of Rebecca. That's just gonna be
Necessary.
exactly. Took the words right out of my mouth.
I would like to see them bring the story into modern times.
Yeah,
If
I mean,
they're-
they have to. If they
yeah.
do it, it's going to look very dated and just there'll be just go watch the original. And then
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I will say, Lily James has proven herself to be quite the movie star I want to keep watching. So, I'm interested to see her take on this role.
I'm waiting for her to get something hefty on her plate. I mean, because obviously, she's fine in Baby Driver, even though she's not really the highlight. It's not about her at all. I think Cinderella's not good, and Chris lives on this big 100-story skyrise that's called Mamma Mia 2 Deflectors.
Okay.
It's called Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. And let me tell you, this is why we have Best Actress in a Comedy or Musical at the Golden Globes.
We don't have nice things, Chris.
This is why we have nice things. We have Halle Carey.
Yeah. No, but actually, I haven't even seen it yet. It's just funny. It's funny.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Well,
but I do I think she's a very, very, I think she's a cute girl, and I think that she will do some good stuff when afforded the opportunity. Oh, she's also in Darkest Hour.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
Isn't she also in the Warren Beatty movie no one liked last year or the year before?
no, that's Lily Collins.
Lily Collins.
Oh, well, she's that forgettable
She
then.
was
Never
in
mind.
Downton Abbey.
Oh,
Was she in Downton Abbey?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a cousin who comes in later, like in season 3. And she was so charming.
Oh, there goes that famous Karen breakup again.
well, she was charming. We got that.
She was right. You were doing so good, Karen.
But I think that's what I think is kind of exciting is she's always done a lot of good work that's been, charming or shows that she can, light up the screen. I'd like to see her take on something that has a little more substance.
Yep. Okay. We lost William Goldman this week, screenwriter, 2-time Academy Award winning screenwriter of All the President's Men and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, also made very famous by Princess Bride, which just came out on Criterion a few months ago. Mark, I have to allow you the opportunity to say all time, because I'm sure you'll say that one of those scripts is all time screenplays in history, right?
I'm sure I'd probably say that about a couple of them, to be honest. But I mean, Butch Cassidy for me that's my personal favorite. I know All the President's Men, and many people love The Princess Bride, of course, but I'm a huge fan of Butch Cassidy.
Yeah. How old was he? 88? He was old. He was pretty old, right?
Yeah, like 87, 88.
Yeah, 87.
Yeah.
He just turned 87 August 12th.
Got it.
He also wrote the book, The Bride, and adapted his own book.
Okay.
And the two are it's the same story, obviously, but they're very different in a lot of ways that make it very easy to enjoy both for completely separate reasons. So if you have not read The Princess Bride, you should.
I would say there's a couple more that I kind of wanted to
Books?
shout out.
Read books?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Was that?
Shout out real quick, just a couple additional films that I didn't know he wrote, and they're films that are all-time favorites of mine. Were Papillon with Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman, and Maverick, which that
Mel
hit
Gibson
me right
Maverick?
Yeah.
that was
what?
right in my wheelhouse.
I didn't know that.
He
Yeah,
also
so-
wrote
You
Misery.
are such a Midwestern
Misery.
connoisseur of the Western genre. My God.
Yeah. His work after Maverick is not great, but up
No.
until that, it's pretty consistently terrific.
That's one of the final times that, probably not. I'm probably doing this hyperbole to say this. It's probably one of the last times Mel Gibson was fun in a movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought about
I
that
think-
in real life. I was like, he probably never was.
Yeah. No. Yeah. After that, the only thing I can think of that he was really fun in was What Women Want. I think that's literally the last time he was fun in a movie.
Well, there's a troubling movie to watch today.
I actually rewatched it. Yeah, talk about dated of its time. It's not. It is. It would get burned to the ground today, but I still think it's kind of delightful at times.
I mean, it's something.
Yeah. We got some precursors. Independent Spirit Awards. These little things came out this week.
Yeah.
With some surprises. Let's talk about what's not there. Not there is Boy Erased. Got shut out and it was eligible.
All of the boys got shut out.
All the boys. Beautiful Boy wasn't eligible.
Oh, what?
The budget was too big. Yeah. Yeah. I did the article a few weeks back about like official submissions. Beautiful Boy didn't get submitted. It wasn't eligible. Roma was only eligible in international. Black Klansman kind of got the finger a lot in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Favorite was only eligible in international film. Black Panther did not meet its eligibility requirements. It just missed the $20 million mark.
like 100 million.
Yeah, exactly. On the basis of sex, so that's the one thing I feel like they may not have seen in time.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was eligible. I'm pretty sure it got submitted, but I don't think they saw it in time. Stan and Ollie was only eligible for international, and let me see what else. Ben is Back, I think, was eligible, but I don't know if they actually officially submitted it in time. And then Old Man and the Gun got the finger too, and that was submitted. And that's it. So let's go through some of those nominations. For Best Feature, we have 8th Grade, First Reformed, If Beale Street Could Talk, Leave No Trace, and You Were Never Really Here. You Were Really Never Here had a really good day.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
A really good day. As did First Reformed, as did 8th Grade. I mean, all 5 of those films I think had a really good day, except for I think Leave No Trace had a stumble. No Ben Foster for there. Beale Street only managed Regina King. So I thought Stephan James probably had a shot for male lead, but that it was going to be a long shot. And before people like get on the things are over for a film
because of the Spirit Awards.
Any spirits. Just remember Jake Gyllenhaal missing for Brokeback Mountain and a lot of other stuff that's happened weirdly over the years. And
well, I mean, I think clearly 8th Grade is going to win Best Picture now.
I mean, yeah, right? It's the front runner. Director was the first time we had 3 women nominated for director. Deborah Granick, Leave No Trace, Barry Jenkins of Beale Street Could Talk, Tamara Jenkins, Private Life, Lynn Ramsey, You Were Never Really Here, Paul Schrader, First Reformed.
Yeah.
Mark, before the podcast, finally saw Leave No Trace, and he said it was all right. I think that's
it's good. Good.
It's good.
Yeah.
Good. Out of those 2 categories, by the way, I mean, once it opens up to the masses, because if you're a member of Film Independent, you can vote. I mean, I think Beale Street is probably the front runner of those 2 prizes, give or take. They don't get to see, because not everyone gets a screener. Like, people forget that. They think, I mean, a lot of people sign up because they're like, oh, I want to get screeners. But some studios don't send the screeners to the Film Independent crowd. So if they don't see Beale Street, because it's only going to be playing in like 2 places in the world, then I would say watch out for like 8th Grade to snatch this up.
Yeah, they can also
for picture.
Yeah.
I think 8th Grade is the easiest one for people to embrace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was a really good moment for 8th Grade. And I think some of the times the best thing about Indie Spirits is less of damning other movies' chances, but also just like highlighting what could be a spoiler, what could be like our winter's bone.
Yeah. All right. First feature, Hereditary, Sorry to Bother You, The Tale, We the Animals, and Wildlife.
I like that The Tale was eligible.
Yeah, I kind of knew about that, and I figured that they were going to pass on it some, but I guess not. That seems like a surefire race between Hereditary and Wildlife, probably. Female lead had a tie, so we had 6, and I love those. Yeah. Glenn Close, Toni Collette, Elsie Fisher, Regina Hall, Helena Howard for Madeline's Madeline, and Carey Mulligan for Wildlife.
Yeah, no Melissa McCarthy.
It's a pretty baller lineup, though.
Yeah.
Second time Regina Hall's popped up, man. She's starting to like watch out of the Golden Globes, man. Maybe.
I mean, she's so good in that movie.
Maybe Golden. So no Felicity Jones, no Julia Roberts. Big miss there. No Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
Can You Forgive Me just got finger a lot of places at the Indie Spirits. No Maggie Gyllenhaal, and I'm pretty sure that was eligible.
Yeah, probably
it had
was.
to have been.
Yeah. No Nicole Kidman for Destroyer. No
not
Kiki
really
Lane.
No Laura Dern.
I wonder if Private War was
It might have been too expensive.
Think so?
I don't know. I mean, it's got Robert Richardson DP. Like, it might have had like the total cost might have been like right at $20 million.
Yeah. And no Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
So it was
and we know Colette was eligible.
Yep. Moving on to male lead, probably the most surprising nomination of the day, and I think probably secretly the most deserving. I'm not saying it should translate into an Oscar nom. I'm just glad it happened one time in the season. John Cho for Searching.
I wouldn't mind if it was an Oscar nomination.
No, I wouldn't. I mean,
it'll never happen. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, he's good in the movie. I mean, I'm glad that he's going to get like a little citation, like to show a clip somewhere. And I know Mark is a hater of good things in life and doesn't like.
Did not like that movie. No.
Yeah, but John Cho, David Diggs for Blind Spotting, Ethan Hawke First Reformed, Christian Malarios for Socrates. That's the one movie you probably didn't hear of, probably ever. Before it was named, and Joaquin Phoenix, you were never really here. I think this is Ethan Hawke's to lose. Joaquin Phoenix, I think, is the spoiler there. Ethan Hawke became my number 6 in lead actor, by the way. Tomorrow's predictions.
All right.
I think he's going to have a little bit of momentum on his side. I do wonder how it's going to fare, because I don't know if people realize this. He's going to be on his 5th nomination.
Yeah.
If this happens, 2 for acting, 2 for screenplay. I know people don't like to count certain things again.
Yeah. I think First Reformed is one of the ones that you got to keep close on all your lists. Like not just him, but I think picture, director, screenplay. I think it's
keep it close to the best.
Yeah, well, I think it's right there because it's a lot of people. I wasn't a huge fan, but a lot of people seem to really love the movie. Yeah. And Paul Schrader and Ethan Hawke are both really well liked, it seems, in the industry.
Yeah.
Supporting female, Kaylee Carter for Private Life, Tyne Daly for A Bread Factory, Regina King of Beale Street Could Talk, Thomas and Mackenzie, Leave No Trace, they bought that bullshit, and J. Smith Cameron for Nancy. Regina King all day, every day. If they don't see it, I'd watch out for Thomas and Mackenzie probably to snag them in the end. Or Kaylee Carter. Kaylee Carter is also someone that I feel like is. Yeah, I feel like she's catching momentum too, which is weird because I think she's actually very good in the movie. It's just not something that you ever watch a movie sometimes and then like you're like, oh, okay, and like you like it well enough and you walk away, and then I'm sure I can't think of an example fast enough off my lips, but they become an Oscar nominee and you're like, really, that became an Oscar nominee?
Yeah,
like, in the end, like. I guess, actually probably a good example of like Daniel Kaluuya in Get Out. Like, I liked the movie and I liked him. I thought he was really good. And then when it happened, you're like, oh, like I'd never watched it saying like, I'm looking at an Oscar nominee one day. So I guess that's what I feel about her.
Fair enough.
Supporting male.
She was.
Oh, good.
Well, I was going to say she was one of the breakthrough panelists at the Hamptons Festival.
Yes. Is she going to be on your breakthrough list at the end of the year?
She might be. She's on the short list right now.
Yeah. Supporting male, Raul Castillo for We the Animals, Adam Driver, Black Klansman, the only mention for Black Klansman of the day, Richard E. Grant, Can You Ever Forgive Me, Josh Hamilton, 8th Grade, John David Washington, Monsters and Men. Someone tweeted out, they're like, maybe Black Klansman, John David Washington was really in Monsters and Men. That's their way of doing it, but you have to bend life to really think that they think that way.
Yeah.
But Richard E. Grant looks like he should have an easy road if not this Adam Driver thing just starts catching on. Because this, I am, listen, and I think he's good in the movie. It's so weird that he is like so far of the only 2 things that have been announced, but he is like the sole citation like times.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
he's good. I like him, but.
And I have to say for Sam, he loves Josh Hamilton in 8th Grade, and he probably died like just hearing his name because he's really good in the movie.
Yeah,
and he has the scene that's the pinnacle of the movie.
He's one of my favorite movie dads of the year.
Do we think that because Black Klansman and Can You Ever Forgive Me were 2 of the movies that kind of fell short at the indie spirits, that Raul Castillo could be a great spoiler in this category?
I don't feel like enough people are gonna enough of the voting mass is gonna see We the Animals. They prioritized usually with their screeners, and it's funny. We the Animals was one of the first screeners that went out this year for voting committees for Critics' Choice and Oscars and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see how I still haven't gotten to it yet, just because you prioritize other things. But now that Indie Spirits happen, I'm like, okay, I guess I really need to get to this like now.
Yeah.
Best screenplay. Can you forgive me, Colette, First Reform, Private Life, and Sorry to Bother You? I have a question.
All right.
Is Boots Riley Sorry to Bother You's first screenplay?
You can submit for either, I believe.
Yeah.
You just can't get into both. You can't get into both. It's just first.
But I thought I would think you automatically get put in first.
No.
Nope.
If you're first. That's dumb.
I think either
It's illogical.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt or Zoe Kazan, one of the two, either Ruby Sparks or Don John, one of them was in screenplay, not debut, not first screenplay also. Like, they do it sometimes.
That's ridiculous.
It's their way of saying it's a compliment, but it's a weird backhanded compliment. Like, oh, it's better than a first screenplay, even though they have a category just for.
Right, like I think you should automatically go there, or let them be in both if that's the case. If you feel
their rules are super weird. They gave the Perks of Being a Wallflower guy best first feature when it was his second movie. So
Yeah. All right. Best first screenplay. These nominees are 8th Grade Nancy, Thoroughbreds, The Tale, and Blame. I think
that's a cool
Karen, I think you did the Thoroughbreds review on the site. Did you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Do you still remember it fondly?
You know, it's so long ago, and I've seen so many films that I haven't really thought much about it since then. But seeing it pop up here, I'm like, actually, it does make sense. I did enjoy it, so
I feel
I'd
like they did.
revisit it.
I feel like they did the Blame nomination just so whoever's hosting can make the joke that the person who wrote, directed, and starred in it is like 19, to make a joke that everyone else is, failing at life, that they're not a nominee as a teenager.
Yeah.
That's why they nominated it, Joey, so that eventually they could have a future joke at the award show.
You know what? Some of their logic makes as much sense as that.
Yep. Cinematography nominees: Madeline's Madeline, Mandy's Suspiria, We the Animals and Wildlife. Another question I have,
All right.
because it's typically been like this. Suspiria won the Robert Altman Award. Typically when that happens, you're pulled out of every other category. Yet Suspiria's nominated in cinematography, which is why Moonlight a few years ago won Altman and was not nominated anywhere.
I believe.
So can someone please explain this to me?
Believe the actual rule, they just don't listen to it normally, is that you can't get any other acting nominations.
Yes.
Like, that's what you're limited from, not necessarily overall.
So then are we saying that Moonlight got snubbed in a bunch of categories that year then?
Well, I don't think it's just acting. I think it's also feature, director. I think it's all the
so we're
the top
saying James Laxton got snubbed
yes.
a few years ago is what we're saying.
Yes.
Okay. This is dumb.
I mean,
this is becoming the Golden Globes musical comedy now. we're starting to go into this territory. Editing: American Animals, mid-90s, The Tale, We the Animals, and You Were Never Really Here. So many animal movies. Mark, don't you hate mid-90s?
I did not like mid-90s, no.
I hated it.
Karen, did you not like mid-90s?
I hated it.
Chris, did you not like mid-90s?
I did not see it because so many of my friends told me that it was the worst movie of the year.
Yeah.
It's one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd go that far. It just wasn't good.
I would.
Enjoy it.
I liked it just fine.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about it since I saw it.
Yeah. John Cassavetes Award, Bread Factory, En El Septimo Dia, Never Going Again, Socrates and Thunder Road. Altman Award went to Suspiria, as we said. Documentary was a tie as well. Hale County This Evening, Minding the Gap, of Fathers and Sons, On Her Shoulders, Shirkers, and Won't You Be My Neighbor. And then international film, Burning, The Favorite, Happy as Lazaro, Roma, and Shoplifters. That's the spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have. So Oscar race is over. Those are the ones you can. That's what's happening.
That was it.
Now. Did you see that stupid interview with president of the Academy when he was like the Academy is becoming the indie spirits?
Yeah.
Yeah. Goddamn old white men, Mark.
First of all, I want to be like, now it's becoming the indie spirits. The most indie spirit it ever was in 1995 when they nominated Secrets and Lies, a movie till this day people have never seen or nor probably heard of. Like, don't talk to me about like you got it's independent cinema only. Like, you guys made it that way for decades.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And
you
also,
can
Secrets and Lies was an amazing choice. I'm so glad that they did go indie spirits for that time. Yeah,
that's fine. But I'm just like, they want to say it's too indie now. Like, this is why you exist, Oscar, you dummies. Like, to give citations to films that people may not have ever heard of or would have the opportunity to see, and now they will see it. And Moonlight won Best Picture, and people now go seek it out because they know that.
Yeah, it's about celebrating film as art, and box office doesn't matter. It's the Oscars are sort of the great equalizer to say this is what has been an excellent, representation of film, of this art form. And so it doesn't really matter if it's, $100 million or $20 million.
What he's kind of saying, like, not saying, but is saying, like, so I guess we should you should have gave Twilight Best Picture years ago, because
Twilight's prize was the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, like they're doing fine. They don't need Oscar to anoint them anything. People are going to go still see them. And what does a Best Picture prize do for Twilight?
Right. Well, but that's the thing too, though, is occasionally you do have those really big blockbusters that are good and are the best of the year, and that's when you get Lord of the Rings and Titanic, and
Titanic, Gravity, all those films did very, very well those years. I'm glad you recognize it.
And then you can go ahead.
Oh, and I'd say that they do that regularly. We haven't had a year since, I believe, 2005 where we haven't had any movies that grossed over $100 million. There's always going to be these big movies that people have seen that get nominated against smaller ones that people have to catch up on. Yeah. And that's kind of the fun of it. I think that we've had a great, I don't want to say diversity in money of nominations, but I do think that we've seen a lot of big blockbusters go up against smaller movies. And I think we're all the better for it.
Yeah. And they elevate mid-level movies. I mean, look at, movies that whether they made 100 or almost 100, or they made it after they got nominated or after they won. Argo made over $100 million. It's nobody's idea of a blockbuster. It's a mid-level movie. The Blind Side, quality might not be the same, strictly speaking, but like these are movies that benefit from the Academy going, more people should be watching this. Even La La Land was always going to do well, but like it became an Oscar movie, quote unquote, and that drove more people to see it. Like when you stop saying that certain movies are what we want to nominate, you're sending a message also not to make those movies, which is the other problem. Like
adult dramas are already going to start suffering. Like the Annapurnas and all that stuff, those aren't going to be around forever. Focus Features is already kind of like been public about how their ability to do adult dramas is not really holding on like that anymore. So, I mean, you just got to continue trekking on and stop. Tapley did a good connection to what I've been banging a drum for, of going back to a straight 10 with 10 spots. And he said, as you expand this membership, you should now more than ever go back to a straight 10, because now you have enough people that can definitely fill out 10 slots on their ballots. Just do it.
Exactly.
And it may not happen every year, but it will inevitably benefit.
And we're coming up to the 10th year that we've done this expansion shit. And I mean, if you're really examining this 10 years and say if it was a success or not, I mean,
it's a push.
Yeah, maybe I guess I would say a push. I would say it. I think they'd even give the 10 enough time to breathe.
No, they didn't.
To even let. I think they just like jumped off of it. So I mean, 2 years of a straight 10, and then they were like, that's it. Because I mean, I remember I think I was on record of being like, I feel like it dilutes everything, and then they went to the and then they went to the sliding scale, which seemed like a good idea on paper, but since we've generated just 9s and 8s, just do a straight 10.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like to see them.
Go ahead.
I like to see them get rid of the preferential ballot as well when they make that change.
Why?
Yeah, it keeps. I don't know. I don't like the system or the format of it. Like, I don't like how safe it keeps things.
I think they should do preferential. I think if they're going to do preferential ballot, they should do preferential ballot for every category.
Yeah,
I hate when they just do it for one.
Or maybe for nominations, but not for the winner. I don't know.
For winner, yes, that's how you get like Moonlight's best.
You should not do preferential for nominations because then it just makes it such a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they already kind of do, right? They do it for, best picture in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not preferential ballot, but it is in the same way. Let's go to some questions. We have a bunch. First time watchers asked a question, and I said I would ask it just because he put a really funny gif about it. What is Gerard Butler's chances of ever winning an Oscar? 0.5.
1%.
Probably
somewhere between Mark and Karen's.
Listen, he had his chance to win an Oscar once, and it was called The Phantom of the Opera, and then we saw it. So unless he's going to change it up with an indie film between now and from Geostorm to now,
and also like acting lessons.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm sure he could act, like, because I mean, in Phantom of the Opera, it's that he can't sing worth a goddamn is why he fails so bad. Not so much that he's just a terrible actor. So I think he's
not a terrible actor,
I think he's
but
limited.
I just
He's Mark
seen,
Wahlberg.
He is limited, and I haven't seen him in anything that suggests that he has this
Chop.
What's that?
Chop, that he has the chops to do anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, he's actually really funny. So if he were able to get in, I think it would need to be for a comedy.
Oh,
yeah.
BT Dubs. I interviewed Saoirse Ronan last Sunday, Karen.
Yeah, I know.
And I totally said, it's in the interview when it goes up. And I was like, my writer, Karen, says that she wants you to do a comedy like Game Night. And she laughed. She goes, please, I would love to do that.
Yay!
In a much more Irish accent.
Yeah.
By the way, you know how, people are Irish in real life, but you still meet Saoirse Ronan, and when she starts talking, it still throws you the fuck off. And you're like, God, you're really Irish, aren't you? Like, that was it's not.
I was so curious where this comment was going at the beginning of it. I was like, I saw this scene in Gangs of New York. I think someone died.
She was so Irish in the moment, which I asked her, if you were dying tomorrow, what would your last meal be? And she said potatoes, and a lot of other potatoes that just came in the conversation. I was like, oh God, that was the Irish thing that's ever happened. So yeah, there's that.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's perfection. Josh Parham asks, can Widow still be a major Oscar player if it underperforms at the box office?
Yes.
Proven by this weekend, it did underperform.
Yeah.
I think what are we looking at? I think we're looking at 12 million opening weekend. Win against Fantastic Beasts, though. I mean, Instant Family did better than it.
But Instant Family got some surprisingly positive
reviews,
and I think that's what made people go, "Oh, maybe I'll go check that out." Yeah. Whereas Widows is an R-rated heist thriller that isn't going to be family friendly necessarily. So.
And that's 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, weird that it couldn't beat the third weekend of Bohemian Rhapsody, but Yeah.
It's not that weird. I've talked to people.
I still think they just released Widows too late. I think they let this go too long.
Yeah, I agree.
October would have been. I still stand by. October would have been perfect for October's the weekend.
Beginning of October.
The beginning, right before Star is Born. Just go for it.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I do still think that there is a possibility for it to sneak into a few categories. But I do think it's going to take a very creative and focused campaign.
Yeah, it does. It will.
I think Viola could totally get in, though. And this is one thing I was thinking about because I rewatched it the other day. I took my mom. Mm-hmm. And I was just thinking, because she's so good. And I was just thinking, man, last year they nominated Denzel Washington for Roman J. Israel, which everyone generally agrees is a terrible movie.
Yeah, why you gotta remind me of that? Come on, Karen.
So I'm just thinking they could if they're gonna do that, they could totally nominate Viola Davis for a movie that's actually good and a role that's really good.
Do you know what I equated something that came to me? I have in my article for tomorrow. Julia Roberts' possible nomination for Ben is Back feels like Denzel Washington's Flight.
Okay.
I equated it to it. It kind of feels like it, and I feel like are we working towards an eventual near Julia Roberts Oscar #2 in the next like 5 years?
I hope
Because
so.
I think Flight started the Denzel's really good. We can totally maybe be on board with giving him something extra in his near future, and then came Fences, and that fed into a Roman J. Israel like
Well, I mean,
snipping
Part-
nomination.
partly, I think also Flight doing well and getting him that also helped him make Fences. Like it brought it into existence. People gave him the money.
Yeah, and,
I mean,
and Flight,
yeah.
Flight overperformed too. It got into screenplay too, which is why I think
Exactly. So I was about to say, is Peter Hedges about to slip in the screenplay according to that?
Maybe.
I mean, it would. It's an interesting script. So who knows?
Stephen P sends in a cinematic showdown for the Turkey Day that's coming up. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, or Home for the Holidays?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah, Planes, Trains.
Planes, Trains. Yeah.
Planes,
Home for the
Trains.
Holiday. That's Holly Hunter, right?
It is.
Yeah, no, definitely Planes, Trains.
I like that movie, but yeah, there's no comparison.
Vice debuted, dropped yesterday.
Yeah.
The reviews were pretty big.
Yeah, they were.
Very, very heavy on Bale. A lot of good stuff for Adams. I'm still. I don't think she's getting in unless she's winning. I don't think they're doing nomination number 6 and just leaving it there, right?
I don't know. I think it's
I mean-
between her. It sounds like it's between her and King, right?
Yeah. I mean, I moved her into the 5 to have her at #1. So I
Yeah.
kind of agree. If she's not winning, I don't know that she gets in. But they also don't necessarily think like that.
I mean, I guess they did Glenn Close for Albert Nobbs and just
Yeah.
let her just
Right.
roll out that, and then she was like number 3 or 4 that year.
Yep.
Maybe even the 5. So yeah, Brady said, "Do we have a Bale versus Cooper huge narrative?" I don't think. I think it was Janelle Riley or somebody said that Bale's actually maybe too good for his own good.
What?
And like, well, he's going comedy at the Globes. I guess we gotta see what this Vigo thing does. If this Vigo thing's gonna if it's really gonna play out in terms of hurting him,
Yeah.
or if Green Book is really gonna start teetering out towards the end. Because Green Book also opened this weekend.
Yep. Limited release.
In limited release, and 25 theaters, 12,000 per theater. So
It did fine.
It did
Not bad.
fine. That's not bad, but you know,
No one's throwing a party for it, but no one's putting it in the ground yet.
At Eternity's Gate also opened in limited release, 23,000 per theater in 4 theaters.
Yeah.
I also
mean,
feel like,
Green Book's got more money to come. It's going to open wide.
yeah, and Green Book does feel like a wide release movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to get that word of mouth thing. It needs to build the word of mouth talk and then get wide and then probably do something that actually First Man should have
I was
done.
about to say, exactly. Doing the thing
Yeah.
First Man could have done 2 months ago and done better with.
Yep. HLVD Movies asks, what are the odds for Margot Robbie and Natalie Portman in supporting actress? Which leads to the discussion about Mary Queen of Scots, which closed out the AFI Film Festival. And I can finally talk about. And Karen saw. Did you see it too, Chris?
No, I wasn't able to see it.
Okay. So, Karen, your thoughts on Mary Queen of Scots? Mary, not comma, Queen of Scots. Mary Queen of Scots.
You know, I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I would.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time I was watching it, I just kept not believe this is Josie O'Rourke's feature debut because
I know,
it's so well constructed. I personally had story problems because historically there's a lot of things that are just not accurate at all.
Yeah.
And I felt like Margot Robbie was kind of useless.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't.
Not Margot Robbie, sorry. I think that Elizabeth was useless and it would have been better and it would have flowed better if they would have kept the focus completely on Mary.
Yeah. It dragged the movie to a halt for me every time she popped up to not really contribute anything. Like,
Yeah.
Robbie's fine, but the character does a lot of literally standing there doing nothing.
I think in a lot of ways, I think she's the best part of the movie because because she, I mean, I just think she takes, when I spoke with her during my interview, she was saying that at first she was really intimidated by the role because she was trying to play, you know, this queen monarch person, and Josie stopped her and said, "Stop, you're not playing a queen, you're playing a woman." And then it like opened up the character for her. And I think I see a lot of that. I think she's, this Queen Elizabeth is much more, I don't want to say frail, but like on eggshells than I think we've been used to seeing her as. And I think they do a lot with her there. And I think Robbie transcends a lot of that. I mean, I think the movie probably could have been definitely could have been better edited and paced to accommodate for the switch back and forth, because Ronan's story is definitely the more interesting aspect because of what she's fighting for, and Robbie's motivations are there's like a lot going on there. It's a little multi-layered, and I think it's too multi-layered to explore in just like a cut back and forth kind of way.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
The cutting back and forth was the worst part.
Yeah, and that's where I think it would have been better if they had just really limited or even eliminated the stuff that's actually happening with Elizabeth and just keep the focus on Mary.
Yeah.
And it would have felt it would have just been a less like intrusive. I think that was the problem I had, was that every time it went over to Elizabeth, it just felt like it was intruding on the story rather than broadening it.
Yeah, you get almost the same stuff with the envoys and the emissaries. Like the political stuff really doesn't involve her until the very end. So you get like a repetitive feeling every time she pops up to not really further things. They're just reiterating what you learned in an actual conversation 2 scenes before, and that was incredibly frustrating to me.
Yeah.
When interviewing Ronan and Robbie, I learned that Ronan shot all her scenes first, and her last day. I'm sorry, that's a lie. I said it backwards. Margot shot all her scenes first, and her last day was Ronan's first day, and their last day was the scene with them together in the end that the film builds to.
The meeting that never happened.
Well, so listen, there. I mean, yes, there is obviously like historical documents that say it didn't happen, but much like any kind of history, kind of record keeping, it paints Mary, Queen of Scots, in a very, very poor light. So there is, I think there is suggestion that it could have happened, and they would have never recorded such an event.
I mean,
well, and they make that point, so I mean, it's fine. The way that they did it is fine.
Because the scene in which they have their scene together is a really great scene, with the exception of 19 curtains that they are just dancing through. It's weirdly choreographed.
It's poorly choreographed is the word you're looking for.
But, no, I think it's weirdly choreographed because I just don't understand like why she can't see her yet, because she looks like she's walking for hours through a house, and I don't know why there's so many curtains in between each room.
It kind of reminds me of the scene that I had seen the night before in Stan and Ollie, where they're doing the door trick.
But that's a great scene though.
I love that scene.
Yeah. So yeah, if people are asking on the Oscar campaign, I mean, Robbie, I don't think is going to happen. She just too much road to make up, and I don't know if the film is going to do as well as she needs it to in order for her to get in. And Ronan is very, very good, and people love her in it. I think that she, again, also is too much ground to make up, and I think they will get her. Next 5 years, I'm telling you, next 5 years, she's an Oscar winner.
Yeah, but
I think if someone's going to get nominated for their work in this, it's going to be Saoirse.
Yeah.
And costumes and production are on the table.
Absolutely.
And makeup.
I even think cinematography is too.
I think the score is phenomenal.
It's Max Richter. Of course it's phenomenal.
I'm down with it. So that's Mary, Queen of Scots. Not a Best Picture nominee, but still, but not terrible, because we were expecting a train wreck.
No, it's not terrible.
It actually really surprised me. And like I said, it's a really great debut film.
Yep.
So.
I mean, it didn't do much for me, but yeah, it's not terrible. Like that was nonsense.
Luis Carlos asked a great question. Will Netflix support Olivia Colman in Best Lead Actress race in order to have an Academy Award winner in their next season of The Crown?
Wait, what?
No.
That feels like very
that's
weird
too
backwards.
that's too behind the doors political.
Yeah.
That's like the Senate and the House coming together trying to like.
No, that's
Well, we know
House
that doesn't happen.
That's like House of Cards, is what you're talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, no.
No, that's
Jeff
not
Marshall asked another great question. One of my Oscar pet peeves is having a presenter who is associated with one of the nominees in the category they are announcing. What is one of your Oscar pet peeves? That is one of mine, Jeff.
Yeah,
Marshall.
I agree with that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I hated that Jack Nicholson gave The Departed Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean,
Because it gives the feeling that it's chosen ahead of time and people
Yep.
know.
and it used to not ever be a fear, but then it happened. So I guess I need to say it moving forward. I don't like it if you're a nominee and you're hosting the Oscars.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think you should do that.
Yeah.
Like, I think Franco lost like his Oscar moment. Like, it was so diluted by one that he was doing a terrible Oscar job, and that, like, you know, he couldn't even enjoy that time to just relish that he was a nominee. And then the year that Alec Baldwin and Steve Martin hosted together, Baldwin was like in the hunt that year for It's Complicated, and there was a chance he was going to make it in the end. So I think if you're in the running and you're campaigning, you shouldn't host.
Yeah.
Just
Anybody
keep it
else?
with Jimmy Kimmel for a while, and he's not going to win an Oscar.
I mean-
He's a TV guy.
I mean, my pet peeve is when we don't see all of the categories at the Oscars. But they'd never do that, would they?
My pet peeve is when movies I hate win Oscar. No, I'm just kidding.
Mark's pet peeve is when La La Land wins and then doesn't win later.
Yeah, my pet peeve is when they read the one I want to win and then say, no, just kidding.
Oh, that's such a good question. I wish I'd had time to like prepare an answer because I do have some, but it's one of those things like I don't necessarily think about it until I'm watching and it happens.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, why do they do
Because,
that?
like, I
Well,
didn't,
One
You know
of the
what?
ones
Go ahead, Chris. Finish yours. Sorry.
kind of going on the presenter track. I think when it gets to the text, they go really, really weird with some of the presenters. Like I remember in the years of Twilight, Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart would present. I feel like you should keep it. I don't want to say like, oh, you have to have been nominated for an Oscar to present in all the other categories,
But
but
you need
it
to be respected.
or respected. I do think that there is kind of a sort of branding associated with the Oscars, and I do think it goes with we're not just going to reward the most popular movie. I don't want it to be like choice.
I am willing to concede to that if that because they're doing that for ratings. So if that's the way to them increase ratings and we get to keep all 24 categories, then so be it.
Yeah.
Like at that point. You know what also I don't like? They haven't done this in a while. They did it in 2003, the year Nicole Kidman won for The Hours. I hate when they don't show Oscar scenes. When they say they're nominated, they're just reading names. It's awful.
Mhm.
I need a scene. I need you to show me why they're nominated every time.
Yep.
Exactly.
I mean, actual pet peeve is I wish that they would do the presentation of the acting nominations like they did in 2008, where you have a former winner present for each person, and then you show a clip, and then you read the winner.
Oh my gosh, no.
I don't like that.
Too long.
I love it. I love it. I go back and I watch that.
That's how we got Randy the Ram. I'm like,
I like that. That's my favorite moment from that show.
No,
It would help if they knew them in a more substantial way. It seemed like that was the first time he was informed that the rest
went
of
on
the
for hours. I felt like it was so long. And
That's why you have 8 categories going into the commercials.
Exactly. No,
Listen, make Oscars long again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen. And wait, who spoke for Heath Ledger that year? Because that was the Heath Ledger year. Was it Adrian Brody? It was someone like random, and I was like, why is he talking for Heath Ledger? Like,
Yeah.
I just thought it was a little weird. Forrest Whitaker talked for Sandra Bullock. And it was like just like kind of weird stuff. I don't.
Well, no, they didn't do gender flopping because it was. Or wait, no, that was
they did because Forrest Whitaker totally talked about Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
I remember she started crying. Like I remember that.
Oh no, that was that maybe the next year when they did Friends, and I thought it was really weird. I like when it's you have to have been a former winner in that category because I remember in 2008 it was supporting like Whoopi presented Amy Adams.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm also down for always previous last year's winner, always giving the winner this year.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like so, I know sometimes like we opt out of that stuff sometimes, but like
Well, I mean, it
Nicole-
was understandable
Nicole-
why.
yeah,
Brie
well, Nicole
Larson-
Nicole Kidman gave it to George Clooney. I don't remember why Rachel Weisz wasn't there. Wait, was it Rachel Weisz? No, Rachel Weisz. Won that year. Who missed out that year then? Kate Blanchett
I don't know.
Yeah, it would have been
Someone's-
Kate Blanchett.
for The Aviator. Yeah, she didn't give George Clooney his Oscar.
I mean,
All right.
someone could be shooting, someone could be pregnant, someone could have just had a baby. There's always different reasons. Like it's
My pet
There's-
peeve is them not respecting tradition. You get out there, Kate. You leave set for a day.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've always wondered is like what productions are shooting on the Oscars. Like,
'cause
hello,
everyone
it's
is
the
there.
Oscars.
Everybody is in that room, so you need to like just say, guys, this is like Christmas or Easter. We don't
Yeah,
work.
you have
this
the
day.
weekend off.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laurie Metcalf left Broadway to go to the Oscars. You
Yeah.
can do it.
Mhm.
Kajardin asks thoughts on the race for best cinematography. Having just watched Buster Scruggs, I'm all in for giving Bruno Del Bonell an Oscar. Buster Scruggs might have the most beautiful cinematography of all the Coen brothers movies. Listen, I like Buster
That's-
Scruggs, but that is a false statement.
that was
Yeah,
that
hard
was less
pass
than
on
accurate.
that.
It is gorgeous cinematography though. That
Mhm.
is Bruno Del Bonell smashes that movie, but nothing is prettier than Inside Llewyn Davis. I don't care who
Yep.
you are.
I agree.
The cinematography, I think I tweeted about it. It's like one of the hottest races. Beale Street is gorgeous. First Man is some stellar stuff. Roma is beyond beautiful. I think Stars Born is actually good.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, it didn't help
it-
that their DP beat someone up, but you know,
Yeah. Wait, he just got released, right? So
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
he's
for
back.
now.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
He got released without charges too.
Yeah.
Well, the power of Warner Brothers.
Yeah. The favorite, Robbie Ryan, when I interviewed Rachel, was it Rachel? No, Emma Stone. She had spoke about that Robbie Ryan in the movie. If we rewatch The Favorite, I think all the women are shot within different lenses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that was done purposefully
I believe it.
to give a different perspective on them. So now I'm respecting The Favorite cinematography a lot more. Because
The Favorite cinematography is amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's good, but the fisheye lens really like irks me a lot sometimes in it. 'Cause I think they use it too much. But now I need to rewatch it to see when they're using it. Because now I'm like, are they just using it because of Emma Stone only, or whatever the case may be? And I think Widows is stellar work. And
Yeah.
So is Mary
and
Queen of
that's-
Scots
and that's in Mary Queen of Scots.
And Black Klansman.
What do you guys think of
and
Black,
Black
Panther?
Panther. I
Well,
love the cinematography in Black
I mean,
Panther.
it's good, but I don't know that I would.
Except for the end.
Well, that's a special effects issue, not a cinematography issue.
How's Suspiria's cinematography? I haven't seen it yet.
It's good. It
It
makes
is
sense with
good.
the rest of it.
Movie, and I love the cinematography. I love the production design. I love everything about that one.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Do you guys like?
I'm with Karen.
Do
Thank
you like
you, Chris.
cinematography in a Quiet Place?
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's not happening.
What are your thoughts on Quiet Place? What do you think this is doing?
I'm moving it up slowly. I still don't have it doing anything besides sound, but it's
Well, I'm going to a sound presentation. They're doing this whole thing on how they did the sound, and I'm really
Nice.
excited about that. Yeah, so I think it'll be in for that. I don't know.
You know what nominee I want to see, and it's like low key, but I think I 100% mean it. And Mark is gonna scoff and die. when I say that.
Infinity War.
No, Seamus McGarvey, Bad Times at the El Royale.
Yes.
Oh, God.
That is
Production design. I want that
baller.
to happen.
camera work in that movie.
I want that to get like 4 nominations.
Oh, you saw Bird Box, by the way. I forgot to talk about that,
I-
Karen.
Did see Bird Box.
Was there a bird in a box?
There were several birds in several boxes.
Got it. Did you like it?
I did. Yeah. It's
It's not an Oscar movie.
no, I wouldn't say it is, but it definitely was great performance from Sandra Bullock. I think if it had come out in a different year from A Quiet Place, it would stand out a little bit more, but I think that it's going to be compared to A Quiet Place a lot, and that better movie.
Yeah.
But I liked Bird Box.
Tim Bruns, do you think Boy Erased has a more difficult road to the Oscars after being shut out at the Indie Spirits? Also, what do you think about the early word of Vice, particularly on the chances for Amy Adams? For Boy Erased, I think it could bounce back fine.
Yeah.
It just can.
The Spirits don't make or break anything.
Yeah.
They don't. What I have seen the Spirits do is they help boost some momentum, and that tends to be in screenplay categories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they really moved the needle this year yet, though. I don't think anything did so much better that's suddenly going to make an impact.
Everything is so divided. It's really crazy. I don't feel like there's a front runner anywhere.
No, not really.
But I think that's why you kind of have it helping stuff like First Reformed or Eighth Grade. I think Mark put it really well, that First Reformed is something that a lot of people really love passionately. And now that it has a little bit of momentum, it kind of moves up in actor and screenplay, even that dark best picture category, maybe as number 12 now.
Yeah.
Mark, I'm going to ask you this question from Michelle Fowles, because this has come up 2 years in a row at the New York Film Critics Awards, and I stand up and I say, no. I yell it until they stop talking about it. So I'm going to ask you the question. Would you support if the Academy changed the acting awards from 4 to 2, one for overall best performance in a leading role and the other for best performance in a supporting role, genders not separated?
What?
Yeah, no.
No.
No. Nope.
Never.
Yeah. For the past 2 years, it always comes up at
That's odd. What is the reason?
Probably
because there's two, there's 3 groups that exist at NIFCO, right? The people that are on the right side of history, which includes me, that says keep things the way they are, dummies. We don't need to change them. There's someone who believes exactly what they said, that we should just do lead performance and supporting performance, no gender, that gender's a moving thing now, and that we should just be on the front of that. And there's someone who believes that we should just do best actor and best actress, no matter lead or supporting or not.
Oh boy.
And to both of these I say no. It's no, because first of all, let's go to the second part, right? If you did best male actor, best female actor, no lead, no supporting, it gives supporting actors a disadvantage forever.
Yeah.
That's how you don't get Beatrice Straight an Oscar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Beatrice Straight will never win an Oscar if you do that.
I understand the argument about transgender, non-binary.
I get
people,
that.
But
then create an extra category. Then if you want, at that point, we don't need to reconfigure if it was becoming such a,
or just place them where they identify, I guess.
Well, I'm all for that, because Asia Kate Dillon for Billions he submitted him, or they, sorry, I'm trying to be politically correct. They submitted themselves to supporting actor at the Critics' Choice Awards.
Okay. Then that's where you consider them.
And Asia Kate Dillon was nominated for that. I think at the Emmys, I think they still did actor.
They did that at the Emmys, and I'm paraphrasing, but I remember an article written around that time with an interview, and they said that Asia Kate Dillon contacted the Emmys, and apparently there was a conversation that they had, and they chose actor in that sense because they consider themselves just an actor, and that being a gender neutral word in a sense.
Got it. Okay. So yeah. So if you want, if acting was evolving in that way, in terms of there's gonna be because I think someone like Daniela Vega competing in Best Actress does a lot more good than regulating her to a transgender category.
Yes, I agree completely.
Yeah. So I think it's fine that Daniela Vega goes for Best Actress. I don't think we need to create a new one. But
Right. Well, and that's where she identifies.
I like Mark's answer. Wherever they identify is where you consider them.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Someone brought this up a while ago, and it wasn't a connection, but it just made me think of it now, so I just thought I'd bring it up. They said it's kind of like how people feel about stop motion acting, and is it acting? Like we are always pushing the boundaries of acting and cinema out more, because acting just used to be whatever's on screen with a person, but then it got to, is motion capture really acting, with Andy Serkis, and now we're into the gender conversation. Like, what's going to be the next thing that we're going to start talking about that's going to evolve the conversation, how we look at it? And I was like, it goes where it needs to go. Yeah. And I think if it became something that was like a big outcry, that there was, I always operate a lot of my stuff on 80-20. I say that a lot behind the scenes on the site and stuff. Like, if it affects 80%, then we need to make a change. If it affects 20%, give it some time and let's see if the other 20, the other 80 catch up and feel it's a thing. But we can still make the 20 feel included.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh, so Mark, did you want to answer that? So it's no from you, correct? From the question?
It's a no. Yeah.
It's a hard no.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Michelle Fowles, that's a great question, and everyone knows my answer, but I'll answer anyway. What is the most all-time acclaimed film you never saw for whatever reason? His is Apocalypse Now. Everyone knows my answer. It's Casablanca. I've never seen Casablanca.
I don't know why I forget that every time you say it.
and it has.
I purge it from my mind just because it's so awful.
You know what's funny is that now, out of principle, I'm just not watching it because I just love the fact.
Oh no!
And I'm sure I've seen enough clips and stuff that I know what it's about. I know what happens.
No, you need to.
No.
So, what's the most acclaimed film you've never seen?
I have seen them all, so I have no answer.
The Harry Potter franchise.
Really?
Any of them?
Yeah, I'm not into
Holy
magic.
Crap. That's surprising.
Magic.
I still haven't seen The Godfather Part 2.
You're not into magic, but you watch The Fountain.
That's not a magic movie.
It's a magic movie.
There's absolutely no magic in the entire movie.
It's a lot of stuff just moving around.
The only magic there is cinematic magic.
God. What do you say, Karen?
I said I still haven't seen The Godfather Part 2.
Holy shit.
Did you see Part 3?
I have seen some of Part 3.
Oh, God. So you've seen all of Part 1 and some of Part 3.
I finally
that means your
watched
idea of The
Part
Godfather
1 last
is
year
terrible
for the
right
first
now.
time.
Actually, I've never finished Part 3, I think, in a sitting because it's
I've
so
seen
bad.
the end.
Yeah, I think I just don't like it at all.
Actually,
I know.
Yeah, I've only seen 3 in parts as well.
The movie that I probably haven't, how do you say that? The movie that I haven't seen that I probably need to see the most is Ran, Kurosawa's Ran. I've never seen that, and I've wanted to for a long time. I just can't get a hold of it.
Yeah, I still have to see that as well. My biggest one for a while was Lawrence of Arabia, but I recently rectified it. It's amazing. We're all good. We're all good there. But
you about gave Mark a heart attack.
Wait, since you saw it, now we can ask you the question: Gregory Peck or Peter O'Toole?
And I think I err on the side of Gregory Peck, but
as you should.
But Peter O'Toole's so good. I'm also Team Omar Sharif in that movie. So amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I lean on the side of O'Toole for between the two, but I love Peck and I love Mockingbird. My second child's middle name is Atticus. Yeah. So it's tough call.
Wait, I don't know if I talked about it last week. Did I tell you guys I saw To Kill a Mockingbird on Broadway?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they changed the whole second act. This is not your Atticus Finch that we know.
How do you change it?
Hello, Aaron Sorkin. That's what I can say. You know what I haven't seen? I haven't seen The Racket or Seventh Heaven from 27 because I've only seen Wings.
Same.
Actually, isn't The Racket Lost? Isn't that the one Oscar movie that's lost?
I don't know that I know that one.
There's 3. I think there's 2 Oscar movies that are lost, that you can never see, ever. Also, by the way, what the hell's the president of the Academy's name? Is losing my
John Bailey.
John
John
Bailey.
Bailey. Thank you. Kept on saying like Jeff O'Toole. I don't know who the hell that was.
Just an old white guy.
Yeah. John Bailey also said in an interview that popular Oscars back on the table and it's not dead.
It was never off the table and it was never dead. That's the thing.
What he used as an example to support the stupid decision was that in 27, Oscar gave an award to Best Picture and Best Artistic Picture.
Right.
And that's how
they're
they did
proposing the opposite.
Yeah. So what we said was, I tweeted out to the Academy was, yeah. And no one ever acknowledges that Sunrise is an Oscar Best Picture winner or Artistic Best Picture winner. Like, we just don't talk. Like, if I ask Mark gets so angry if I say this film won Best Picture and he like spits.
Yeah, because it didn't.
It's
Wings, period.
Yeah, and then they stopped it.
It was so dumb.
They adjusted.
Yeah, I love how he uses precedent from 1927 that they only did once as justification.
Right. Well, it's for a thing they're going to do once and abandon, of course. So, you know.
Well, can we also talk about like, in 27 what their categories were Outstanding Picture, Best Unique and Artistic Picture, Best Director Comedy Picture, Best Director Dramatic Picture. Like, they didn't even know what was like going on.
Let's bring them all back, which is making a mess, an orgy of weird films.
So yeah.
He's a problem.
Yeah, he's ruining everything.
We could have had Laura Dern.
I know.
We could have had Laura Dern and someone else. We could have 2 people, and instead we got one bad one.
Yeah. What's question from Nolan Roberts? What is Jason Blum's best bet for taking home an Oscar this year?
This year?
Well, what are his options?
Yeah. Does he have like that many options on the table?
Black Klansman.
I know that, but like.
I mean, Halloween.
Is there anything else but that?
I guess Halloween is his other option.
What was that other one from earlier in the year?
Halloween, Black Klansman, Truth or Dare?
Truth or Dare, that's the one.
Oh, Blumhouse's Truth or Dare. He got Lee Daniels.
I was trying to think of what that was, but no, I think Black Klansman is.
Wow.
It.
Maybe he'll take the Oscar home next year for Glass.
Oh god.
Dude, that looks good. Am I the only one?
It looks
It
awful.
does. I'm so excited.
I think it looks.
It looks like quintessential M. Night Shyamalan mistakes when he does something right by accident.
Yep.
And now he's going to run with it for 9 movies.
Yep.
It is not going to be good.
I can't wait.
It's going to be
I can't wait either.
Fest 2019.
I was really bummed that it wasn't. It didn't pop up at AFI like Split did.
Oh, anybody else surprised that the Mule did not play at AFI?
I was surprised. Yeah, I really thought it was going to be a secret screening. They didn't have. Well, they kind of had one. They threw in the Aretha Franklin documentary on the last night.
Yeah. Which I haven't watched it.
Is the Mule then just going to be a commercial play?
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
They haven't.
I mean,
they
the
screened it for
festivals-
anybody? I don't know anybody who's seen it.
I don't believe so.
The festival circuit's over, right? Are we done?
Much.
The festivals, like.
Yeah.
There's one more, isn't there?
Sundance? No.
No.
Well, the English ones happen, right?
Yeah.
There's
VFI.
there's Whistler at the beginning of December.
Wait, what is?
What the hell's that?
It's that
It's
guy
up in
from Blade. It's his friend.
BC, and it's up in BC, and they're screening Roma, and Queen of Scots. I
nothing
can't
we
remember,
haven't
like 7 or 8 big ones. So
Okay.
Can't wait. It's gonna be great.
7 or 8 big ones. That's what she said.
not
That's how you know Mark's getting antsy.
I'm hungry for lunch.
All right, so let's do our last predictions and then we're done. So going through the majors, starting with animated feature. What do you have at number 1? Let's go. Oh, Ralph Breaks the Internet. Also embargo drop. Movie's great.
Yeah, it's really
that
good.
movie
great.
is fantastic.
So great.
I've seen it today. I'm so excited.
So great. And you know what else is great? And
Spoiler
this is
alert.
the biggest surprise of the year that I'm going to say it's legitimately great.
Yes.
Creed 2.
Yes, it is so good.
I bawled like a baby child.
Yeah,
Like a
Not
big,
surprised.
fat baby child bawling in the theater. And everyone knows, everyone doesn't know, but everyone probably knows this, was not a big fan of Creed 1. Thought it was just okay. I never got the Sylvester Stallone thing. It was one of the most baffling things that's ever happened in Oscar history, that we were going back to that nonsense. And I watched this, completely floored by Tessa Thompson. If it happened for Stallone, it needs to happen for her, because she is just, we don't deserve her.
Where do you have her?
Perfection. Like 29.
Oh, you got to start the movement. You
Yeah.
got to start the movement.
I mean,
Bring
come
her
on.
into the discussion.
I said I need her to happen. I'm not sure she's going to happen. Listen, I acknowledge what
It is
Oscar
the
can do.
I even cared about Ivan Drago.
Well,
I
it's
didn't
weird because it retroactively makes Rocky 4 have higher stakes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? Did you see it, Karen?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Things I don't like about the movie are really simple. Like, Ivan Drago is just a cartoon. He's always been a cartoon, and he will always be a cartoon. He has never been someone that is weighted in reality. Like he says, "I break you" like 1,000 times in the movie. And
I mean, that's for the fans.
He's just a Russian villain, and like that's what he's always been made to be. But his son is utterly delightful, and I
Yeah.
just want a whole movie about him. I'll take it any day.
There's a moment involving his son that I was super powerful.
And then Ralph Breaks the Internet is just stellar.
Yeah, and stay through the entire credits. There's a joke at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, way better than the first one, I'd argue.
On par.
Yes. I agree.
Wow.
I think the first one's
I
good.
love the first one.
I think the first one's good, not great. I think I think that was just a mediocre year for animation. This one is legitimately really, really good.
And personally, I felt like the gender politics played out much better in this than in The Incredibles 2.
Yes. Especially the Disney princess stuff is,
Oh my gosh, that was
It's phenomenal.
gold.
yeah.
Yes.
Like they are opening themselves up to like they need a movie just about all of them together doing that all day long.
Mhm.
All right,
I'd
so
watch
let's
it.
go. Animated feature. What is your number one? We'll go around the room with Joey, Karen, Chris, Mark. Go with Joey.
Incredibles 2.
Karen.
I bumped up Ralph Breaks the Internet to number 1.
Ooh. Chris.
Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Nice. Mark.
Ralph.
Ooh. I'm going with Incredibles 2 until further notice. Prove me wrong. I'm ready to be proven wrong there. I hope it is incredible. Ralph Breaks the Internet. It's great. Adapted screenplay. Number one, Joey.
Adapted screenplay. My number one is Black Klansman still.
Karen.
If Beale Street Could Talk.
My number two.
Chris.
If Beale Street Could Talk.
Nice. Mark.
Beale.
And me, Beale. So Joey's wrong. Got it.
Yeah, that's how this works.
Yeah, that's how it works. Original screenplay.
Green Book.
Karen.
Me? 8th grade.
What?
Yeah.
So when do you tell her she's wrong? I'm waiting for that now.
That's a limb one though. That's good.
Notice how we didn't say that word. I see. Fonzie over there.
Chris.
The Favorite.
Ooh, nice getting different answers here. Mark.
Green Book.
Yeah, I'm also on Green Book for a little while longer.
I also still haven't seen Green Book, so
Oh.
there you go.
Yeah. Yep. 8th grade. What a call, Karen. If that ends up happening, you're gonna have a lot of bragging rights for a little while.
Yeah, I will.
Supporting actress winner.
Amy Adams.
Karen.
Regina King.
Chris.
Regina King.
Mark.
Amy Adams, who I've had all along.
And I'll break it up with Regina King. She wins the Oscar. Supporting actor.
Richard E. Grant.
Ooh.
Oh, I love it.
Richard E. Grant.
Yeah.
Richard E. Grant.
Holy shit.
Mark.
I'm like, that's out of Telluride. I had number one, and I just like a week or two ago moved Mahershala Ali ahead of him. So I hope you guys are all right and I'm wrong.
And
but I've
and this week's predictions, I have moved Mahershala to number 1. I got off Sam Elliott.
Yeah, I moved Elliott to 3.
Yeah, Elliot, he seems like the 3. He seems like the one that's sure to get in, but long shot to get the win.
He's like a 2 spot. It's funny. I keep saying it's weird. Like Ali and Grant, they are either 1 or 3.
Yeah.
Neither of them are 2. So Sam Elliott could break that up, or just like whatever.
I think it's between Ellie and Grant.
Listen, I think we need to start considering that Adam Driver may make a spoiler kind of play here.
Yeah. We'll see.
Oh yeah, I bumped him up to number 5.
Yeah,
I have him in 4.
Oh, he's my 4. He's going to be
7.
probably 3 soon.
Huh.
He's going to keep climbing. Lead actress.
I had to remove someone I loved, so.
Glenn Close.
Yep.
Yeah, Glenn Close.
Yep.
Lady Gaga.
Ooh, she's going for it.
Star was Born.
Yeah.
I still have Gaga as well.
I have Close. Gaga ain't winning no Oscar, guys. Not
The
in
conversations I've been hearing at different events, like, yeah, I think it's unwise to discount.
I would even maybe go
To
on
discount
a
who?
limb.
Glenn Close. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, people love her and they really want to give it to her this year.
I have said, and I said it for all year, that she is. I think it's going to be a steamroll.
I'll switch.
When we get to the television shows.
I'll flip to Glenn Close. And I haven't seen The Wife. Do you guys know when it comes out on video? I missed it when it came here.
I'm sorry, video stores are closed because it's 2018.
Well, whatever you call it, streaming. I still get video from Netflix.
I think it's at Redbox. Go to Redbox.
Is it there
I
yet?
don't know.
It doesn't. It is.
Either. Mark, stop going to Redbox.
I don't
It
get
is.
Redbox.
It is not.
Streaming the
It
future.
has not set a date yet for DVD.
Okay. Hopefully it comes soon.
Yeah.
Or maybe I can get a screener for that one. You never
I don't know. Maybe. What's the difference? If Bruce Springsteen is a Sadoshi. Anyone knows where that's from?
No.
No.
No. It's from Bloodsport. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
God.
I saw that movie like 25 years ago.
Oh my God, I
was-
watch that movie at least once a year.
That is awful.
Maybe even once a month I watch it. That movie
Wow.
is so
That
great.
explains so many things.
Oh my God.
Let me ask real quick on this category. Does anybody else have Emily Blunt in their predictions yet?
I do.
I have her at
For
7.
Mary Poppins?
I do. She's my number
Yeah.
4.
Okay, good. There's 2 of us.
I just have to check real quick if I put her in this round of predictions that publishes at midnight. Because I think I cooled on Felicity Jones.
She's my number 5.
Yeah, same.
Emily Blunt is my number 4.
Hey.
All right.
Tomorrow.
Copy
And
me.
Julia Roberts rounds it out at 5. Jones is 6. McCarthy 7. Colette 8, though. It's nice.
Where do you have Gaga?
3.
I have her lower than that.
Listen, I think there is actually even a day that Gaga misses actress.
Well, if she
I have
misses,
her missing.
I don't think Star is Born wins without her
I mean
nomination.
maybe
do you?
not. Yeah, probably not. I mean, listen, remember we were talking about like First Man's Worst Day at 4 nominations?
Yeah.
Star is Born's worst day could be like 5, 4, and maybe Gaga's not in that. Sam Elliott would be gone. All that stuff would be gone. So who knows? All right, actor. What do we got?
Cooper.
Bradley Cooper?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have Bradley Cooper too.
Bradley?
I've got Bradley.
Bradley? Mark?
Yeah, still Cooper.
Oh, and I have Bradley too. All right. Who's your number 2 though?
Bale.
Yeah, I just switched Bale to 2.
Yeah, I think you have to.
Yeah. Vigo's my 3 though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same.
Damn. That 5,
still
man,
have
just
him
looks
for
so
2.
solid right now. Like I can't like kick any of them out. Cooper, Bale, Mortensen, Gosling, Malik. Like they just feel.
I mean,
like
I have
5.
I have a different 5, but yeah, the top 4.
Because you have Hedges.
Yeah.
That
I have
Hedges
Hedges
thing.
too.
I have Hedges.
Oh, see, I have Hawk in there instead of Gosling.
Yeah, Hawk's the one.
That
Hawk's
could
the
be
one to
someone
look
that-
for.
Yeah, Hawk's my 6.
Yeah, me too.
He could pop in. He needs that. He needs that globe and SAG. Needs it. Okay, director.
Cooper.
It's a good one because this, I feel like we can get a few different answers.
Yeah,
Or the same one.
Cooper.
I still have Spike Lee.
I have Spike Lee as well.
Spike Lee.
Oh, 3 Spike Lees. And I have Bradley Cooper. Spike Lee's my 2, though. Let me ask, does anyone have Farrelly in their 5?
I do.
I do
I
not.
have him at number 4.
I just took him out of my 5, but that also means I moved Green Book out of the number 1 spot in picture. I did it for
Ooh.
I moved it out.
Okay.
Yeah. But my 5 feels good, like with Cooper, Lee, Cuarón, Jenkins, and Lanthimos.
Oh, I have the same 5.
Oh, it's because you're smart, like me, Chris.
It's so male.
That's come on, Karen.
Well,
What'd you think?
yeah,
Deborah
that's-
Granick was going to be there? Come on.
which female has the best shot, you think? Is it Muriel Heller
I think Mario.
I think
Heller.
Mimi Leader.
Leader.
Yeah.
Leader.
for Basis of Sex?
Yeah. Mimi Leader, she's my 11. Mario Heller's my 13.
Sounds about right.
Next highest woman is Deborah Granick at 21.
I think
By
this
the way,
is
I say that, and I've got Mimi Leader at 10. So
I think
I have
this is the
11.
hard. I think this is the hardest and deepest category of all the ones we've talked about. Like it
That's what she
is,
said.
there's so many that I could see it getting in.
Yeah.
Like
I think director ends at 9. And I'm not
Oh.
even joking.
I don't think. Where do you have Schrader? Because I don't think you can discount him.
Schrader is 26.
Jeez, I'd move
I mean,
him up.
I mean, that movie just needs to show strength outside of indie. If he wins,
I
like
mean, Gotham's
NPR,
and Spirits.
I mean,
It's a pretty good start.
it's like something that like builds.
Critic, you don't think critics will go for it too?
I mean, that's what I need to see.
I think it's going to be a big.
I need to
I
see
think-
critics come for it. I don't.
I think it's going to be one of the darlings of the year.
And it pushes that up on someone's screener list. That maybe is now the next thing that they watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we'll see. All right, and picture. What do you got?
Wait, let me ask real quick. Sorry, Adam
Shut up.
McKay.
Go ahead.
Does anybody have Adam McKay?
No,
I'm at
He's my
9.
9. He's my 9.
Okay. Go ahead. Pick.
A Star is Born.
Green Book for now.
She said it's so nasty. Chris.
A Star is Born, but I mean, I'm very tentative on that. It still feels like it's gonna La La Land at the end.
I still the thing is, like, I just haven't changed off of Green. Well, I updated it to Green Book before the Vigo thing happened, and then I feel like there's not a front runner, so I just don't even know what's
Yeah.
going. Like, it's such a
That's-
crapshoot right now.
And that's
Why do I mean? I get why people say it. But how do they say there isn't a front runner?
I mean,
I really don't
feel
feel like there is, because
I feel-
everybody you talk to says a different one.
No, but I feel like. So I feel like Stars Born is the front runner until people get it off the front runner pedestal, which people are doing. So
I've
think
talked to a
it's
bunch of
proven
people that
otherwise,
don't.
there is a front runner. I think this is kind of what I think, and this is in a vacuum. I think there's always a front runner in every race. I don't think there's no such thing as not a front runner. I think there are things that I think there are a lot of possibilities, but I think there's always kind of one that feels like the most likely of what you're talking about, and you can just deem that the front runner. And it doesn't have to be like the one that definitely wins. I think that's what people get tied up with. They say the front runner, you're like saying it wins 14 Oscars on the night and it's the new Ben-Hur and all that stuff. So I think if we just say, I think Stars Born is the front runner right now until Black Klansman and Roma and Green Book rack up some stuff, and then it's not anymore.
that makes
Well,
I
also-
respectfully disagree.
I also think too that people don't want something declared the front runner because the front runner stops winning. Like it's something that gets torn down, and so that's
studios don't want to be called the front runner anymore.
No.
It's been proven time and time again. They do not want that beacon on you. And I think Warner Brothers did a great job of like holding that Stars Born like palpableness until TIFF, and then they just couldn't escape it because it got blown up so much. And it is very much a La La Land right now, because I was speaking to Academy voters. I'm like, oh, did you see Stars Born? They're like, yeah. Like I don't think it was as good as everyone said it was, and that's what it was. Everyone
There it is.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly
but
what
which
I'm
is the
saying.
same thing that happened with La La Land, When everyone
think-
said La La
But
Land
it
second was
depends on who you
God's
talk
gift.
to.
Yeah, that's very true.
Everybody I talk to says a different front runner. That's why I feel like there's not actually a front runner.
I think there is a front runner, but I think it shows how weak its status is that nobody wants to say that it is now.
Yeah.
I think Star is Born is still the one that you kind of got the most buzz around when it came out, the most Oscar talk, and I guess that makes it for right now the front runner if there is one. But I think the fact that what Karen is saying shows that in a preferential ballot, I don't think it'll win. That's why I have Green Book.
Yeah.
I think it'll come down to a crowd pleaser.
But I will say, I don't feel like I think my number 2 is a very it's a very out there number 2. Like, I think Black Klansman, number 2 in Best Picture, feels a little weird. But I am one also that says anyone who has Spike Lee winning director, you better have Black Klansman in your top 3.
I agree.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
You need to
I don't.
I have it at
on
number
math alone.
No, I don't think it's about that. Here's what I think it's about. I just mentioned, I think director for right now, this is where I stand. Director, I think, is the most wide open race, even for nominees. So I don't think there's that no-brainer director. And I think with my approach with Green Book, I don't think Farrelly wins director. So
No, he definitely doesn't.
my approach is I like Green Book to win. So now what director do I have winning? And I think that's where, when all the playing field is kind of even, it's a chance to give Spike Lee his long overdue Oscar.
So let's buck at history right now.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, Guillermo del Toro was the no-brainer in director, right? Everyone had Guillermo
felt
winning.
like it.
It was the surest thing of the night.
Yeah, I felt like it.
Did any of you I correctly named Best Picture, and a lot of other people did too. But was Shape of Water not in your top 3?
It was my number 2.
Yes,
My number 1.
It was 1, 2, maybe 3. Because sometimes you might have been on 3 billboards or Get Out, because that was kind of where everything was breaking.
Yeah.
Right? It was definitely in your top 3.
Yeah, and that's the narrative at that point.
Now let's go to the year of Argo. Argo's winning Best Picture. Ang Lee is winning director, right? He was like 1 or 2, depending on where you were there. And where did you have Life of Pi in your Best Picture predictions? 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Either Lincoln or Life of Pi were there.
I don't know.
It up that high.
I don't know if I had that.
I don't think I had it that high.
I didn't like it, but I had it that high.
I had Lincoln too.
You just have to name a director winner in history that's one director that their film is not in the top 3 of
But
that
I don't know that
category.
we don't always know that though.
But
right?
we don't know it, but
Yeah.
or it's one that you can assume that we're like, yeah, like the film, like the only one you could argue if it had happened, if George Miller had won director for Mad Max, because you could definitely say Mad Max was like 5 in that race, maybe even 4, despite winning 6 Oscars on the night, and that would have been 7. And even with that, all that happening, we were so reluctant to put Mad Max any higher than like 5.
I had it at 4.
I mean, yeah, and that was the highest you can put it, right? Because who won that year? That 12 years. Wait, the
Spotlight.
That was Spotlight.
Spotlight.
Yeah,
Because that was like the big
Spotlight, Big Short, and that was number 3.
The Revenant. The Revenant.
Yeah, that was it. Those were the 3. And Iñárritu won director. We all knew he was winning director. And where'd you have the Revenant? 1, 2, or 3?
Yeah, I had it 1.
See,
but I don't think that's always the case though. And again, right now, by the time Oscar nominations have been made and we're making predictions for winning, there'll be more of a narrative and it'll be maybe a different story. But where I stand now, that's the narrative.
Can I ask you something, Mark? Did you the year that Scorsese won for The Departed? Did you predict Departed to win Best Picture?
Yes.
You did.
Yes.
I didn't, but it was my 2.
I mean, here's the thing. It makes sense because we're basically explaining the reason why lone directors will never win, because you inevitably put your film up high.
Yeah.
So if you're a lone director, your film wasn't put high, so you're not getting voted for.
I just can't imagine the Academy in a vacuum going down the line for a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and going Spike Lee and director and not do Black Klansman anywhere else.
It's such a strange thing to say.
hard.
Like, yeah, to go for Green Book and
especially like in Joey's narrative that he has in his, because your predictions, readers here, fisheye look into this. Your predictions are telling a story. They should tell a story. That's how you should read it. So in Joey's narrative, he's saying Black Klansman's winning director. Black Klansman's winning adapted screenplay.
Yep.
And anyone have Black Klansman winning adapted screenplay and director?
No.
Is that Mark?
No, I don't.
Screenplay?
Yeah, someone had it. There was a few people that said adapted screenplay.
No, somebody else said like Beale Street.
No, I said Beale Street for.
Oh yeah, well, Beale Street. Okay. So so let's talk about this. So if Black Klansman is your predicted screenplay winner and director winner, and it's still not in your top,
well, yeah, right.
You're like
that would be a different story.
That'd be bizarre.
Yeah.
What? I mean, I think where's Black Klansman in your rankings, though, Mark?
It is number 2. It's number 2.
Yeah, like.
But listen,
you're saying like it's contending to win.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Serious love.
I have Black Klansman for picture 5, but here's where I would say we just don't have enough information, because most years we only have 9 years now of more than 5. If you don't count the early days of Oscars, so we only have 9 years of data anyway. Yeah. If you go to back when it was 5 films, sure, at that point it's a little easier to say that their movie finished top 3 because we have less films to look at that were in competition. Yeah. Now we have like 8, 9 films sometimes. It's hard to know where some of these films would have really landed on their list for Best Picture. Was Revenant really number 2 or 3 even? I don't know.
What I want to...
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, I am very troubled by the trend right now in which I agree with Mark so often.
No,
it is troubling.
Sucks.
We're going to...
Or it could be early set Alzheimer's. Who knows? So,
Karen,
it's just what's your story right now?
Yeah, no, I agree with Mark completely on this one, actually.
I mean, I just think in a mathematical equation... It doesn't like another example. Alfonso Cuarón winning for Gravity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like a bunch of people predicted Gravity. Some people predicted Gravity number 1, but most people had 12 Years a Slave winning. But Gravity was there too.
But you're looking at years where there are very strong front runners, and right now, this is what I'm saying. It's so spread across the board.
So last year we didn't have a strong front runner. I mean, 3 Billboards was
3.
There's always kind of 3. There's like 1 or 2.
I don't even think there's that this year. I think it's really spread out.
Well, it always looks spread out this early until NBR, NYFCC, and LAFCA announce, and then we're going to have a 3. It always seems like that in mid-November. But we're going to, in 2 weeks, we will have the top 3. I guarantee it. I don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
It can definitely be something else. But I'm like 80% sure that once NBR, NYFCC, and LFCA that whole weekend go nuts, and unless it's Star is Born winning all 3, then put the stake in the floor and like it's front runner now moving forward. But if we're getting 3 different films there, like a Roma, Black Klansman, and a Star is Born or whatever, then I think it's going to open some stuff up. And remember, Shape of Water early on also, remember when it was missing everything? Everyone was like, Shape of Water's over. It's not going to happen. Remember all that?
Well, yeah. It was never a critic.
Those first few weeks of December were infuriating.
Yeah.
Infuriating. And Shape of Water won in the end.
But also, like right now, we are operating our predictions under what we know so far. So we haven't gotten to those 2 weeks where the field is cold.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, I mean, I think the narrative that I'm saying by not having Black Klansman in my top 3, but having it in director, is that I don't know how Black Klansman performs under the preferential ballot. And I don't know which between Star is Born, Green Book, or Roma is going to be the one that I think wins the preferential ballot. But I think that those 3 under that voting system, which is different than director, have a better shot at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
There's a lot of different narratives.
Believe it or not, I think Roma does really bad on a preferential ballot.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
I think it could.
It sucks, but it's going to. I think preferential ballot is going to help Black Klansman, Green Book,
Vice,
Beale Street-ish, maybe even The Favorite. Actually,
maybe Vice.
Depends. I don't know, because Vice, I don't have a clear temperature gauge if that's like a beyond bail thing, even though people like it. Like it was so heavy about him that it was almost you couldn't get a read on the overall film.
Well, next week I'll know, and you'll know too.
I'll know on Friday. I'm going.
Yeah, you're going on Friday. I'm going on Sunday. So
I'll know on Monday.
There we go.
What are you gonna know? February,
one of these
March,
years.
February, March, April, May.
I don't know. What's the release on Vice?
I don't know.
Christmas.
It's Christmas
Yeah,
next year.
probably. Fuck.
Christmas 2020. It's opening than Star Wars.
Right.
It's
All
like
right.
Beale Street one day.
It's Christmas.
Yeah. All right. So let's end there. We had our argument.
Yep.
I won the argument, obviously.
Right.
You
Yeah.
so clearly
You
didn't.
know what? Clearly. Readers, go in the comments and please, Team Clayton
But they
or
all
team
like you.
the
No
wrong
one likes
people.
me. Come on.
Either team 40
an unfair
plus
poll.
or your team 40 under.
With age
Respect
with
your
age comes
elders,
wisdom.
Clayton.
You know
Hey,
what?
I wasn't on your side.
I know.
You know what, Mark? It was just your birthday. I like you.
So it's either team 40 plus or team too young to vote.
Right.
and then it's me there. And tell me where you lie on this. 'Cause I think if Sam was here, he would be with me.
I don't know. Sam is a Oscar historian, statistician as well. I think he would go with us.
All right, we'll see. All right, Joey, where can they follow you?
At Joey Magidson, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff.
Christopher, where can they see you if they're walking down the street?
Oh, if they wanted to see me walking down the street, I don't know, come by Beverly Hills.
On Rodeo
wow.
Drive?
Yeah,
Are you
on
walking
Rodeo
into
Drive.
a store saying you work on commission, right? Big mistake. Big. Huge.
I mean, that's what I do during my lunch break at work. I just stroll over to Rodeo Drive and recreate Pretty Woman scenes. It's great. Find me there. Or if you just want to
I feel
find
like
me,
that's true.
Yeah, it might be.
I'm flying.
He does have the outfit.
This happens.
Yeah, I do. But anyways, I keep it in my backpack. But you can follow me on the internet at CWJ92 Movie Man.
On the internet. That net. Do you use Netscape?
That net.
That's a really dated sentence. Do you use Netscape?
Uses Earth.
No, I don't. I'm not dated like that.
He doesn't even know what Netscape is. He's too young.
I know. That's how
I actually don't.
Oh, God. Do you know what LimeWire is?
Oh yeah, I used to pirate music off of that.
Drew, cut that out.
Yeah. Wait,
No,
you didn't.
I'm sure the statute of limitations
I
is
think
up
you
now.
were too old. I think you're too young to even have ever pirated music.
No, I was the cool kid in my small town because some older friend taught me how to download music through LiveWire, and I burnt people's CDs.
In first grade, he was like black marketing.
Yeah,
I think Mark
Always
has
be
a CD
hustling.
burner.
I do. I do. I have a DVD burner and everything.
Mark is still recording from one tape deck to the other. Playback.
Those were
Mark,
the days.
Mark, do you listen to the radio with your finger on the record button, just waiting for the come on?
Always.
And you just hit it.
That's all I ever did as a kid.
Oh God, you're always ready for that
All day
Bruce
long.
Springsteen number.
The new Bon Jovi song.
Yeah. All right, Karen, where can they follow you?
They can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Karen M. Peterson, or next week up in Salt Lake for Thanksgiving.
Going to the saltus of the lakes.
I am.
How salty of you.
Yeah.
It's a very salty lake.
Mm.
And Mark, where can they look for you on
Mark likes movies, and we're hosting.
Presumably.
Oof. Right. Hey, and just because we started the show with this, so just wanted to let you know there's an update. The Browns have denied interest in Condoleezza Rice. as a
Oh
head
wow!
coach.
Breaking news at the
that has
beginning
been
and the
that
end.
has been debunked.
Just like that. We are amazing at the news here.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. You can follow me at Award Circuit, download us on Stitcher Radio, and listen to us on Spotify. Give us reviews on iTunes. This week you will get an avalanche of reviews, including Ralph Breaks the Internet, Green Book, On the Basis of Sex, Mary Queen of Scots, Vice,
Creed 2.
and I think we're done.
Creed 2, I assume.
Oh, Creed 2, yes.
Yeah.
I've tried to think of something else. There's a lot of stuff in there. On Capernaum, I'm probably going to release a Capernaum review.
The favorite, right?
Oh, I saw Cap.
Yeah, I reviewed The Favorite already.
Yeah.
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 All right.
At
Let's go
NYFF.
eat.
Yes. I was there.
What are you going to eat for?
I don't even know if there's even bread in here. Stupid wife just went shopping yesterday. God.
Stupid wife. Mark,
Oh, there's-
what era
She is
right
pretty
now.
stupid if she's married to you.
There it is.
True.
You nailed it, Karen.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that your kids yelling for bread?
Yeah, they want lunch bad.
Yeah. All right.
After
Glass of
12:30.
water.
At the movies.
Thank
See you
you.
guys.
Circuit Breaker is brought to you by AwardCircuit.com.